Royal Belum, Tasik Temenggor is a large lake and proud in northern part of the peninsula Malaysia, where it's located in state Perak, Malaysia, Hulu Perak, and the crosses southern Thailand, and also part of the larger Belum, Tasik Temenggor Forest Complex BTFC, and it's shared with Thailand. So the uniqueness of Royal Belum is Temenggor is that there are various flora and fauna such as plant and hardwood trees and tropical rainforests that are becoming extinct. So among the species are meranti, cengai, keruing, and merbau, and there are also herbal plants that can be used to treat various diseases. So Royal Belum has a plant that is rarely found in the world, which is the Rafflesia flower. In addition, there are 67 species of snake, 132 species of beetle, 28 species and 3 new species of cricket, 97 species of butterfly, and 41 species of branching and dragonflies. So this take from the Royal Belum State Park, UNESCO 2020.
About the contribution of the ecosystem based on economy for the Royal Belum Forest is one of the best tourist areas for a large family holiday. The contribution to the economy of the Royal Belum is huge, as it has huge tourist attraction, as it provides a wide range of facilities as well as a variety of different experience for tourist recreation there. So, among the attraction available in the Royal Belum Forest, they provide jetty facilities from Temenggor Jetty to the Royal Belum Forest. So, in this jetty, they are available from the smallest boats to the most luxurious. So, this contribution to the economy from tourists who bought these luxury jets, as they spend a budget of RM9,000 for those who want a luxury holiday to the Royal Forest Belum. There is also a houseboat with a moderate price that reaches RM3,000 to 4,500 only. For those who can afford, it will not be shy to spend an affordable budget like their income. After that, the attraction found in the Royal Belum Forest is where tourists have the opportunity to attract the Rafflesia flower, which is the largest flower in the world. Tourists in Malaysia as well as outside Malaysia are attracted to see these extraordinary events, as this flower only grows in a few places in the world and only blooms in a very long time. So, those who intend to travel with their big family will not be at loss if they spend money there. About the accommodation in there, they provides a comfortable ecosystem for tourists to enjoy the flora and fauna found there. With the fresh air in the area, tourists will not feel a loss to spend their money on that place. Tourists they also can choose their area to stay, where there are 4 camps. Among them are Sungai Papan Camp, Sungai Kenarong Camp, Sungai Tiang Camp, and Sungai Kerja Camp, which is the price is offered reasonable according to the ability of the tourists to come, which is from 400 to the 1,605. according to the type of resort they choose. So, in the summary, Royal Belum provides the highest contribution to the country as a result of investors who see the Royal Belum Forest as a resource that will generate lucrative value. The tourists will have spent their money here because they want to have fun with their beloved family, have also contributed a lot of the economy through their tourism activity there.
Contribution of ecosystem in Royal Belum to social. The Royal Belum is the state park with a wide variety of flora and fauna that can be benefit mankind. The contribution of the Royal Belum ecosystem to social is very widespread, as it is capable of providing medical value, food sources, and culture value. The first is medical value. Herbal tree that have medicinal value for the native community in the Royal Belum is pokok ubi jaga. The scientific name of this herb tree is Smilax mystiflora. In America, only its tubers are used and have a bitter and slightly sour taste. This tuber is said to be capable of treating a fever problem and increasing the inner energy. To treat the fever, leaf and tropica must be boiled up to 1/3 of its water and drink. The second is food sources. Among the sources of food that can be obtained are potato mushroom fish caught in the Bandeng Lake, the ikan kelah, or the scientifically known as the potatora. The price of the kelah fish can reach up to Rm 220 per kilogram. The kelah fish can be caught by the orang asli community in the area to meet their food need, and if there are any excess cash, they will sell it at the jetty of Pulau Bandeng. The lastly is culture value. The Royal Belum ecosystem has been able to provide culture and religion value to humans. This is because we'll instinctively gain aesthetic and spiritual signification from environment found in the Royal Belum forest. In terms of diversity, every creature in the world needs to love nature. It also contributes to social aspects such as outdoor recreational activities such as fishing, picnicking, and camping to experience the enjoyment of the environment. In conclusion, the Royal Belum ecosystem has made a lot of contribution to society. This ecosystem is important to human beings because it giving a value and benefit to human life.
Next, I'm going to continue with the contribution of Royal Belum in environmental aspect. There are two main environmental contribution of Royal Belum. First, it serves as a conservation site, and next, it stabilizes the Earth climate. Royal Belum not only home to a wide variety of organisms, it home to some of the world's most threatened mammals like Malaysian sun bear, tape, Malaysian tiger, Indian elephant, and white-handed gibbon. Hence, it serves to conserve some of the world's most endangered species. It also holds to at least 80 species of mammal, over 300 avian species, and 3,000 of the flowering plants, including Rafflesia, the world's largest flowers. As for how Royal Belum stabilizes the Earth climate, it does that by photosynthesis. Nowadays, as we already know, the greenhouse gases have caused temperature to rise that lead to many environmental problems like rising of the sea level and heat wave. Royal Belum can act as the carbon sink to the environment by absorbing the greenhouse gases, specifically carbon dioxide, in the environment and through photosynthesis. These are examples of Royal Belum organism, and each of these organisms play a role in environmental contribution. For example, Malayan tigers keep population of a prey species in check, which in turn maintain the balance in ecosystem. And other wildlife here shown in the slide are excellent seed dispenser, and they play a key role in dispersing and this seed in Royal Belum. And here in the middle we have a mabau species, and its wood is generally a sustainable wood thanks to its carbon sequestration and carbon storage.
In this part, we will be discussing about the biodiversity richness of Royal Belum. Royal Belum is known for its diverse biodiversity, as it is one of the oldest rainforests in the world. It is home to many wildlife species, both flora and fauna, consisting of endemic and non-endemic species. There are over 8 species of gigantic Rafflesia that inhabits the Royal Belum forest, out of 26 species in the world. There are also more than 374 species in 84 flowering plants, and among them are 15 endemic species. Moving on, Dipterocarpaceae is a family of tropical lowland rainforest trees. They are the keystone family of tropical flora with over 695 known species, and at least 32 species can be found in Royal Belum Forest. Royal Belum is also famous because of the diversity of the Hornbills species that can be found in the forest. There are 10 species of Hornbills found in the forest, which is the highest number in the country, region, and also in the world as well, per unit area. 80 species of mammals can be found here in Royal Belum, including the threatened Asian elephant, the iconic and threatened Malayan tiger, the Malayan gau, and the Malayan tapirs. Next, we will be comparing the biodiversity richness among other national parks in Malaysia. The Royal Belum State Park is a tropical rainforest that is more than 130 million years old and is home to 4 endemic, rare, and threatened gigantic Rafflesia and 10 species of hornbills, as well as other large and iconic mammals, herpetofauna, birds, insects, and fishes, and other wildlife. It also has the classic tropical flora, which includes seed plants, ferns, and lycophytes, bryophytes, and fungi. The Kinabalu National Park, which represents the wilderness and landscape of the sub-montane forest and montane ecosystems and habitats at elevations of more than 1,500 meters above sea level, hosting the highest mountain in Southeast Asia and representing higher altitude ecosystems of outstanding biodiversity, richness, and value. Next is the Gunung Mulu National Park. Represents Borneo's lowland limestone hills and lowland mixed dipterocarp forests, which are home to the world's largest limestone caves, as well as diverse range of lowland flora and fauna, particularly those adapted to limestone and karst ecosystems, and high pinnacles of poor soil nutrients. Thank you.
Estimated economic value of bamboo in Royal Belum State Park. There were 3 types of bamboo species recorded, mainly consist of Dendrocalamus pendulus, Bambusa vulgaris, and Dendrocalamus strictus. First, Dendrocalamus pendulus is a clump forming 20 to 30 meter tall, and the stems can be 9 cm with aerial roots. Second, Bambusa vulgaris is a common and open clump type bamboo species. The stems are not straight, thick, and initially strong. The bamboo grows about 10 to 20 meter tall. Third, Dendrocalamus strictus is a bamboo species that the stems are often tall, which grows in a large number of heavily branched trees, and it reaches a height of 6 to 18 meter. Furthermore, a total of 1,564 sticks of bamboo was estimated for harvesting. However, only 572 sticks were matured and expected to be harvested. For the lowest bamboo stick matured for harvesting are Dendrocalamus pendulus and Bambusa vulgaris. Each were recorded at 202 and 155 sticks per hectare. And the highest bamboo stick were matured is Dendrocalamus strictus for 215 sticks per hectare. Next, the valuation of bamboo per hectare in Royal Belum State Park was recorded, and it is assumed that the length of each stick is 6 meter. For Dendrocalamus pendulus, the value of bamboo stick is 2 ringgit 50 cent, and the total value of potential bamboo per hectare can be calculated as 2 ringgit 50 cent multiplied by 202 sticks is equal to 505 ringgit per hectare. Second, the value of bamboo sticks for Bambusa vulgaris is 1 ringgit 90 cent, and the total value of potential bamboo per hectare can be calculated as 1 ringgit 90 cent multiplied by 155 sticks is equal to 294 ringgit 50 cent per hectare. Third, the value of per bamboo stick for Dendrocalamus strictus is 2 ringgit 70 cent, and the total value of potential bamboo per hectare can be calculated as 2 ringgit 70 cent multiplied by 215 sticks is equal to 580 ringgit 50 cent per hectare. The same method were applied on unmatured bamboo stick for harvesting. The quantity of sticks per hectare were 159, 546 and 287 respectively for each type of bamboo plant. The total estimated economic valuation of bamboo stick is equal to addition of both harvested and non-harvested bamboo sticks. Lastly, the sum of harvested and non-harvested bamboo sticks are 3,589 ringgit and 80 cent per hectare. Economic value of Parka speciosa in Royal Belum State Park. Parka speciosa is also called bitter bean or twisted cluster bean. It grows long, flat edible beans with bright green seeds and has the size and the shape of almonds, which have a rather particular smell. It blooms flowers in a light bulb shape at the end of long stalks. Then the flower secretes nectar that attracts bats and other pollinators. The fruits appear as long, twisted and translucent pods in a cluster of 7 or 8 pods. When the pods are matured, within them will reside the petai beans or seeds. The petai bean trees can grow up to 40 meter in height and 1 meter in stem. The color of the flower is creamy white and it possesses a long stalk of 30 to 45 cm length. The seeds are 3.5 cm in length and 2 cm in thickness, which increases in the size and exhibits a round shape on maturity. The plant thrives well on sandy, loamy and areas nearby the river banks. The optimum temperature for the plant is 24 degrees Celsius and the trees are cultivated in the plains up to elevation of 1500 meters. Furthermore, the valuation of Parka speciosa or petai tree per hectare in Royal Belum State Park were estimated. On average, about 386 pods per tree was estimated that a petai tree could produce. The value of petai per pod was recorded at 5 cents and the estimated pods of petai per hectare is 1544. So the value of petai per hectare can be calculated as 5 cents multiplied by 1544 pods is equal to 77 ringgit 20 cent. Lastly, the estimated pods of petai including whole plot is 10,808 and the total valuation of petai per hectare can be recorded as 5 cent multiplied by 10,808 pods is equal to 540 ringgit and 40 cent.
Neobalaenocarpus hemi is a monotypic genus of the Dipterocarpaceae family widely known as chengal in Malaysia. Chengal is the popular commercial wood due to its durability and hardness. It contains anti-termitic qualities, thus no chemical treatment is required. The wood natural extractive make it resistant to fungal deterioration. It's appropriate for bridges, boat building, power line poles, heavy construction and wood carving. Chengal produces damar penna, one of the finest natural damar that is traditionally used for torches, shielding, boats and production of certain type of varnish. And Malaysia is the only exporting country of the chengal sawn wood. Chengal is 65 meter tall tree with a width of 16.75 meter and average diameter of 5.33 meter. Chengal is known and popular for timber. In December, the average domestic log and sawn wood price for the year from 1986 to 1919 were $123 per cubic meter and $242 per cubic meter. Exported on average of 28,500 cubic meter of sawn timber per year. During this time period, with 69,000 cubic meter being consumed domestically, sawn chengal timber export 8,000 cubic meter with a value of $2.1 million in 1992, which is worth 8,766,450 in ringgit Malaysia. The reserve forest is said to be roughly 290,000 hectare in size. Chengal is a hardy hardwood with a density of 915 to 980 kg per cubic meter. It's commonly used in heavy construction tasks such as boat construction, pillar and bridge, and required little preservation before it is termite resistant. The Chengal wood worth $2,500 per cubic meter. Neobelanocarpus hemi tree from per hectare includes 9 trees, which worth $22,500 with a value of Rm 482,874, with one plot per hectare 100 by 100 meter and a line transecting at an elevation of 130 to 300 meter above sea level. Subplot of 10 by 10 meter were developed to make a enumeration procedure more efficient in each plot. The elimination of an estimated 1,821 metric tons of air pollutant by trees resulted in a $9.5 million economic benefits. The total estimated economic value of Chengal is $11,622,500 with a value of Rm 48,518 and 126.25 cents. Anisoptera is 50 meter tall, big conifer tree with a very modest but dense crown. The cylindrical hole features noticeable thick, rounded, towering straight buttresses and can be up to 180 cm in diameter. Resinous oil known as allosulfic oil, which comes from trunk. It utilized as an illuminant in the area as well as for varnishing and sealing vessels. It offers a lot of potential for varnishing production. Cutting through the tree and creating a cavity for the oil to gather is how the resin is harvested. The construction is done using the yellowish woods and flooring, boxes and crates, interior paneling and joineries. The reliefs and veneers are only few of the application for the woods. The anticipated stumpage for each compartment varies significantly according on the diameter classes. It's easy to see that the predicted stumpage value is concentrated in the 55 to 75 cm range. This is because the large fraction of the timber volume is contained within this diameter range, and this feature is particularly noticeable in the diphtherocarp forest. The total amount of commercial standing wood is expected to be around 2,105 million cubic meter. This stand is worth 4,561,774.93 which is Rm 19,043,129.45 based on forest charges. The lumber sector should be brought up to an annual production of at least 4.7 million cubic meter as quickly as feasible to satisfy current rehabilitation issues. This would be sufficient for internal reconstruction and export. A cut of this size would still be exceedingly prudent as it would be much below the present timber stand anticipated yearly growth rate. To achieve this level of production, it is estimated that an investment at least $428,600.92 in additional sawmills, $77,927.44 in finishing mills, $38,963.72 in veneer mills, $29,222 dry kilns, $38,963.73 in wood preservation treatment, and another millions in boxes and barrel manufacturing would be required for a total investment of $983,833.93 with a value of Rm 4,107,014.72 ringgit.
Now, I'm going to explain economic value of forest ecosystem services. Economic value is a person's assessment of an economic good based on the benefit they receive from it. It is frequently calculated using the person's willingness to pay for the good, which is actually expressed in money or units. The forest ecosystem services are divided into 8 categories, which is watershed services, soil stabilization and runoff control, air quality, climate regulation and carbon sequestration, biological variety, recreation and tourism, non-timber products and cultural values are all the examples of these categories. In provisioning services, it has non-timber forest products, which is construction materials like bamboo, rattan and palm leaves, wild foods like fruits, nuts and bushmeat, animal feed and medicinal plants. They are a feature of informal and or subsistence economies, and they are widely employed by rural and urban groups across the developing globe. Next, in regulating service, there are watershed services, which is water quantity, both total quantity and seasonal variation in flow is influenced by forests through a number of interconnected processes. Soil stabilization and erosion control are poor soil productivity, damaged roads and infrastructure, filled ditches and reservoirs, reduced water quality and impairment to fish population are all expenses connected with erosion. Climate regulation and carbon sequestration is a tons of carbon sequestrated or stored as the same economic worth as a ton of carbon emitted. Example, the value of the avoided global warming damage. Thirdly, in cultural services, it has recreation and tourism, which is provide essential habitat for game animals and fish sought by hunters and anglers, as well as the source of rivers and stream used for pleasure, which is hiking, bird watching, wildlife viewing and other non-consumptive recreation activities are all possible in the woods. Lastly, biodiversity is ensure a plentiful supply of potential important genetic materials such as that utilized in selective breeding to boost agricultural and livestock production. Next, I am going to explain about total economic value of Royal Belum Tasik Temenggor Perak. Total economic value of Royal Belum Tasik Temenggor Perak has direct use values, indirect use values, option value and existent value. So the first one is direct use value. So under direct use value, the first one is timber. The first indicator discovered is a log of wood. To access the stumpage value, previous study used 2 types of data: secondary data from forest inventories and in-depth ground forest inventories. The cost of a log per cubic meters varied from Rm 315, which is low, and to Rm 375 ringgit, which is high. Based on lower and higher cutting limitation, the stumpage value of the timber were found to be between Rm 8,707 ringgit 52 cent and Rm 17,514 ringgit 12 cent per hectare. The second one under direct values are non-timber forest products. The non-timber forest products are the second indicator under the consumptive value. This section includes information about rattan, bamboo, wild fruits, gaharu, which is agar wood, and cinnamon bark, as well as medicinal herbs. The value of rattan was calculated using the residual value method, which is RVT, to be Rm 942 ringgit 52 cent per hectare or Rm 2822066 for the total area of the study site. The overall value of bamboo in virgin forest was Rm 23,175 ringgit compared to Rm 155,099 in log over woods. The value of medicinal plant per hectare, on the other hand, was determined to be between Rm 26 ringgit to Rm 445 ringgit. And the third one is recreation and tourism. The non-consumptive value of recreation or tourism can be calculated using the entrance fee collection method and direct visitor expenditure. The total number of visits to the Royal Belum Temenggor in Perak was multiplied by the amount of admission fees imposed on the tourists, which is total Rm 480,485 in the study. And the last one for direct values are research and education. The annual research value was assessed to be Rm 38,480 ringgit. Furthermore, the value of the research budget granted by the Minister of Higher Education to the Royal Belum Temenggor Perak, Malaysia, was utilized as a proxy value to quantify the indicator. So the next one is indirect use value, which has watershed services and carbon sequestration. The watershed services benefits are an indication under the indirect use value. Royal Belum Temenggor Perak used the amount spent to safeguard their watershed as the measure for the watershed benefits, which came to Rm 38,350 ringgit per year. The next one is carbon sequestration. The estimated carbon value per ton range from USD $6.3 to USD $228. The carbon value accrued 71.9% of the total economic value of Royal Belum Temenggor Perak under sustainable logging and oil palm agriculture. The third one for total economic value are option value, which is biodiversity. Biodiversity is a forest biological variety, is categorized into several categories including ecosystem, landscape, species, population and genetics. The average estimates of biodiversity specifically for the rainforest pricing levels per hectare came to Rm 95 ringgit.59 per hectare. And the last one for total economic value of Royal Belum Temenggor Perak is existence value. Under existence value, there are conservation. Conservation is the attributist value, existence value or bequest value make up the non-use value. Researchers have recently employed the contingent valuation approach and choice modeling method to value the woods in Royal Belum Temenggor Perak among the common methodologies for environmental valuation.
The Royal Belum Temenggor rainforest in Perak is one of the world's oldest rainforests, stretching back over 130 million years and outlasting both the Amazon and the Congo. It is likely to be a target to people or any unknown organization for destroying them to take the benefit from the forest. Hence, some initiatives have to be taken to protect and conserve Royal Belum Temenggor so that it can be maintained natural ecosystem itself. First of all, government plays a very important role to protect and conserve Royal Belum Temenggor. By enacting government legislation, the government has the capacity to regulate what happens to the country's habitat and forests. With the law of legislation, it will be possible to conserve and safeguard a wide range of species in Royal Belum Temenggor's forests before they are transformed or destroyed by irresponsible and selfish humans. Nature preserves are the next idea for protecting and conserving Royal Belum Temenggor. They tend to safeguard a place and a variety of species that reside there from certain types of development while also allowing visitors to pay them a visit. As a result, the government should take responsibility for establishing Royal Belum Temenggor as a nature preserve area or location so that all nature creatures, plants and animals, also known as flora and fauna, can be protected. In addition, human is encouraged to do some research for Royal Belum Temenggor. Research can be done by understanding and find out how species interact within the environment is crucial for intense research on Royal Belum Temenggor. Human will also be further understanding about those species and help to protect organisms by do more research on them and maintain the ecosystem in Royal Belum Temenggor. Malaysia's Forest Research Institute works to maintain and conserve trees and forests. Forests and trees, particularly large trees and nature forests, provide numerous advantages. encourage local governments to protect the Malaysian Forest Research Institute, build parks and fight detrimental suburban sprawl and other developments. If it owns wooded land, volunteer with the local land trust or parks and recreation department or purpose a conservation easement. Finally, to protect and conserve Forest Research Institute Malaysia is support forest conservation organizations. In the absence of effective and environmental friendly governance in many areas, NGOs provide important organizational and monetary support for a variety of conservation efforts. Alright, now summary of this study is policies need to be formulated to strike a balance between maintaining ecosystem services and pursuing valuable short-term goals for economic development in the Royal Belum Tasik Temenggor. The development of an increasingly rapidly developing and drastic areas has now had negative implications for humans and their environment, specifically in the provision of using ecosystem services. Conserving biodiversity at Royal Belum Tasik Temenggor also demonstrate that management must make more coordinate efforts to conserve and safeguard Royal Belum Tasik Temenggor. The findings of this study provide useful evidence to support and assist in the formulation of policies that protect biodiversity by measuring the economic value associated with the protection of biological resources, assist management or stakeholders, government or private sector, in sustainable forest management and biodiversity, conservation for the benefit of current and future generations, and ultimately needed to realize Royal Belum Tasik Temenggor core values. By 2030, we want to be the industry leader in tropical forestry research, development, commercialization and applications. Finally, to protect and conserve Forest Research Institute Malaysia is share our love of forests with others. One of the most powerful causes of forest destruction is ignorance. Take our friends for the hike in the woods or get them involved in a local forest conservation organization. Human will not survive without forests. So, we must protect the Forest Research Institute Malaysia to our nature so that future generation can feel and see what is there now and it is not extinct. Thank you.